So my name is Jem Ohm. I have been a product director, mobile developer, mobile designer since 2009. I now work with Assembler, and I am the lead mobile person at Assembler. We do turnkey solutions for organizations of all kinds, universities, businesses. We help you launch web and mobile instances of your learning platforms. So without further ado, today I'm going to be talking to you about how we've evolved our offering this year and how we launch quickly and beautifully on iOS and Android. Oh, animations. The rockets symbolize how elegant and fast our solutions have become. That's not true, but so our agenda today is to basically talk through our story, give you a little idea of how we've done it, how you can do it. If you are a partner, if you're a provider like us, this may inspire you. This has enabled us to move towards more open source contributions and being more active in the community. And so take notes, consider it for yourselves. If you are somebody who's looking to add mobile to your own site, maybe consider us as a provider. So some of you have never seen the edX mobile app. So this is for you. This is our little demo about, kind of what the app looks like. When your students log in, they will see a list of the courses they're enrolled in. Here we just have one demo course on here. This is the course we use to train our clients on course authoring. So by default, we have some options on the course overview, access to videos, assignments, quizzes, discussion, handouts, announcements. We've had requests to add more site-wide or course-specific pieces there, to remove them, and we do that. This is the course outline. So if you've ever made a course on edX, you're familiar with the idea of you can add text, you can add like HTML, you can add video, you can add weird video choices like YouTube, and then we direct you to YouTube because it is a little more effort to bring it directly into the app, so why not piggyback? But sometimes we do bring those solutions in. This is discussions. So just like on the web version, students can interact with each other, they can create topics, they can respond to topics, ask questions, answer questions. This is me saying I'm from the West Coast of the United States. Course navigation is you can go from the high level into the different units, or you can go next and previous. Video is a big in-demand piece. That's the piece that is most offline friendly on mobile. So if you use one of our recommended solutions for mobile videos, then your students will be able to download the videos and store them for offline viewing at a later time. That's one of the benefits of the mobile apps, is being able to access those at any time. So it's just showing you little pieces. The main navigation is this menu, typical menu you've seen on a lot of apps like LinkedIn and other apps. It's common on Android and iPhone, so it works as a similar design choice. We also allow students to choose Wi-Fi only. So if they don't want to, say, be downloading videos over cellular, you can say, don't do that. That's the one main overview settings toggle. Registration. It is required for app stores to have a terms of use, and whether or not you distribute on the App Store, you should have a terms of use, and I'm sure you do. So that is standard on our apps. That's it. So this is an example of branding. This is not the default edX branding. This is an example of our simplified branding flow, which is give us one or two primary colors. You can give us more. Give us a logo. You can give us more. And honestly, the only thing we need to launch your app is a square logo. That's it. And you're good. So how have we evolved our offering? Did I skip a slide? Oh, Okay, yeah, I wanted to more clearly speak to this. I'm going to be going through from 3 main steps in how we've evolved this year. We started with a very, very open-ended free-form process that we still use for a lot of enterprise requests, and that looks something like, I want something. What is it that you want? Here's an example. I want something. You know, that slow, very iterative process. That's our open-ended flow. Then we move to the standardized one, which has like a little more formulaic. And then we go to what I'm calling the one-button beta, which is give me 1 to 30 things. Here's your app. Okay. So our open-ended free-form process with mobile went something like this, and still goes something like this for discussions. Every time we are ready to provide you with something, we give you screenshots of the whole app so that you can see the look and feel quickly. We send you downloads to play with for iOS and Android so you can interact with them and see how it's working with your choices on the course content side. And then we demo it to you, and we talk through it, and we walk through it with you. So this is how we evolved our mobile offering to kind of discover, hey, what's working, what's not working, and now we have a more standard idea of that. From our first few customers doing this process, we did learn some things. So this year, one of my primary goals was to enable more access to the Open edX platform. On web, we have been creating a more standard offering where it's just easy to get you up and running if you don't need a lot of customization, so you have something now. You can always change it later, but you have something now. So we want that for mobile too, where it's just easy, get it now, we handle the tech, it's there. So that's kind of the flow I'm going through here. So with open-ended freeform, we started trying to standardize. So as it was really fluid, we learned that our customers really actually only wanted a few branding options. We didn't get really customer requests of, oh, here's a PSD, we want it to look exactly like this, we want this animation. We didn't get a lot of that. We got, oh, how about you just like add our logo and we like this color? Which was really surprising because I expected more requests than that. Most of our customers have been happy with simple choices. We also discovered through this iterative process that it would be smarter if we asked for a lot of things up front: marketing requests, branding decisions, tech choices, account access. So we started developing some standard for that. Now, after that, we moved towards a more standardized flow, and we used that for quite a few clients. So we handed off 3 surveys. We said, hey, here's a design survey with branding choices. Please talk it over with a branding team member and get it back to us. And if you have comments, questions, discuss them with us. So we have a standard design survey for visual branding choices. So these are 3 main categories: design survey, copy survey, technical survey. And we ask our clients to hand it off to the appropriate team member for that, bring it back to us, get it to us soon. So once we get these 3 things, we launch the app. We send a download for final review for iOS. We send a download for final review for Android. And we use the marketing materials to prep the App Store listings so you don't have to. We also, you have control to do that. And App Store is optional. Oh, through the open-ended approach, we discovered some snags in delivery timelines and promises and such. So our standardized workflow involved a more standard approach to that, which we still use. And this is basically batched feedback. Here's the thing, please give us your feedback in one batch, talk to your team, get it to us. Then we have a meeting where we discuss it. We discuss your needs, we prioritize them, and we have a customer success lead who leads that discussion. And the customer success lead brings in a developer usually for 30 minutes of a call to just finalize that. And our goal generally is to agree on a scope of work that can be completed in 10 days for the next iteration. So every iteration we try to do a pretty tight Here's a new version, here's a new version, here's a new version, in a way that works with enterprise timelines, because sometimes you guys are slow. It's just, works with everyone. Unexpected details. We also developed a standardized approach to analytics and more standard customer processes around discovery projects, estimating new features, specialist advice, and co-sponsorship packages. As we've used this standardized workflow, because it was a pretty sharp transition to this, we learned a few things. We learned that we want fallbacks for everything. We want default colors, default images, default randomly generated things, default everything. And we also need to communicate clearly on deadlines, divisions of responsibility, and deliverables. And we learned that we really, really prefer our customers to be very involved and responsive and communicating with other team members and bringing them in. So this is my baby that I'm very proud of, and this is our automated solution that we developed this year. Basically, in a nutshell, it is continuous delivery, continuous integration, and separation of client-specific code from generic code. So to run this, I literally do git branch -b branch name, git push. That's it, and then this happens. So it's pretty cool. It works really straight up in the coding workflow. It's very simple. Continuous delivery. So for those who don't know, continuous delivery is the idea of always be sending out downloads. So whenever a new change is made on the Open edX platform, I automatically pull it in and produce a distribution to our QA team. So every change generates a QA build. And then we have custom delivery timelines for beta and production. So beta, generally, we've been doing like every couple of weeks. Production, once a month. We'd like to bring that even tighter. Continuous integration is the idea of, okay, so there's a QA team, and that's great, but we don't want to manually test everything every time. So continuous integration is the automated test suite. So making sure that before any build goes out, it runs our automated test suite. And then there's the passive. It goes to the QA team. They can say, no, don't ship that, and let us know. Yeah. One of the things I really wanted to happen with this one-button solution was to solve the idea of what do we do when client code diverges from the edX platform. So the one-button beta solves this as best as we could find. By separating client assets from the Open edX code base and ensuring that there is some separation of assets right now, but separating every choice from the main code base, we can be constantly pulling in the latest code base and the latest contributions. So thanks to this system, it's become more affordable and wise for us to always be on master. Because if we're always on master, then then our automated merge system works. We can just be pulling in the latest, putting things on top of it, always contributing against master. And because we're always on master, the small fixes and the upgrades and the large upgrades that we negotiate with our enterprise and co-sponsorship programs can all just go on that. It's hard to explain how tight that feedback loop is becoming, but we're still realizing all the benefits of this, which is why this slide is a little complicated, but basically releasing consistently is making us a better open source contributor. Questions? Go for it. Oh, could you guys hear me okay? Okay. Oh, yeah.
I think in the past you guys were using Cocoapods or something for theming. Is that
Yeah.
still an approach that you use, or is that? Yeah. So that's my first question.
Yes. So I actually did submit an upstream pull request to introduce this as a concept to the open source community. It was rejected. It's still available open source as a concept. There was a proof of concept saying, here's it abstracted as a Cocopod. So yes, we are using Cocoapods for iOS. And then we use, what is it called? The one that starts with a G for Android. Yes, Gradle.
Cool. And is that part of this one button
Yes.
process? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Absolutely.
And
Because
then-
basically, then our script can just say, pull the latest Cocopod, boom, boom. And it, yeah.
Oh yeah, and then my second comment is just that it seems like edX for their white label products and Proversity and you guys are all doing a very similar process for replacing client assets. So later, I'd love to talk about how we can collaborate on that and get everyone using a similar process. And
Are you Proversity?
I'm OpenCraft. I'm Braden. We've actually interacted.
You
before.
missed our birds of feather.
Yes.
Shame on you. Come by my table
Yeah,
later, after.
great.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Thanks for the talk. So I was wondering, you ended your talk with saying that it's best to always keep your stuff on master, like edX is master, I think you mean. So how do you deal with clients of yours that are running on a certain release version? Are these always compatible with the master branch of the app?
Are you talking about edX platform now? Are you talking about the web backend?
So I'm talking about, you were probably talking about like the edX app master branch, right?
Branches, yeah.
And then I'm talking about the interaction between that and the edX platform master branch that the edX platform your clients are using then should be running on. Or they could also be running on a different branch.
Yeah. So the answer is that that could become problematic. We've been talking about that a lot because it does raise fears. Like, hey, if there's a huge change between ficus and gingko, and then what happens? Like, what does that start looking like? And the answer is I don't think it's that complicated. The API layer is what we care about, so we can keep the old API layer and keep the new one, or retain some flags, or connect to the old. There's just ways to do it, but it might become a little bit of an issue. We can also ignore certain changes until a certain date. Just because we're pulling from master, we haven't had to ignore anything yet because we can just, if it's bad and it's broken in QA, we can push up an upstream change and just be like, oh, it's working now. But yeah, we haven't had any headaches from that. We probably will, and then we'll have a better answer for that question.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Sorry. Go for it. Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell us, but how do you sign the iOS apps with the one push button? Because that's like a tricky thing to do.
Okay. Yes, there are a lot of ways to sign, right? So when we're releasing to an app store, we use Fastlane and Match. When we're releasing to enterprise, so far our current solution has been most of them have some kind of mobile team, and we literally hand them the code base. Here you go. So they always have the latest code base. And then they sign it themselves. We haven't done, because there are so many ways to sign, that it kind of needs to be a request-by-request basis for anything more complicated than that.
Are there any other interesting customizations that you guys have seen, or apart from the theming that is required by every organization. Are there any interesting customizations of the mobile app that you can share?
Yeah. So honestly, the mobile app's really simple. Like it's just not very complicated. So I guess the answer to that is no. We've had customizations, but they haven't really been that complex. They're pretty simple. In terms of, we do have requests. So we have we are working on we have a co-sponsorship thing happening now around localization. We've had, I don't really know what I'm allowed to share beyond that. I know that I'm looking at my manager. But yeah, I would say our requests have largely been around X blocks. So X blocks are currently technically web code, and the collaborative force of mobile development in the Open edX community is moving towards, we just agreed we're moving towards making sure that X blocks have a native experience and a web experience. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that because we have been getting a lot of requests on the X blocks. Like, please support them better. Because basically they'll a lot of them, in terms of everything working on mobile, the answer is sometimes we just link out to the mobile web experience for some pieces, and that's frustrating. We don't want that to happen. We want it all to be smooth and cohesive, and so our requests are more around, let's make the experience of this custom piece, like dragging and dropping things, great on mobile, and that's through Xbox, which some people don't know what that is. That is a library of plug-and-play pieces for polls and surveys and any custom graphical interface piece.
Can you talk about the progress bar and the instructor dashboard pages that we've?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, the perception of the disparity between web.
Okay. The technical implementation details of that I didn't find very interesting. So.
Sure,
but it is an interesting piece to probably a lot of you, which is that. So one of our clients wanted. They said, "Hey, we want more feature parity. You don't have the course progress. You don't have this other thing, and we got those custom made on our website." And I said, "Okay, well, we'll make them." So we did that. We added those in. We shortcutted it, and we basically load them as internal web views because they don't need a custom mobile experience, but they could have one. I'd love to iterate on that. That would be a more interesting feature. Yeah.
You said you have an analytics link up. Do you give different customers different analytics solutions?
Yes. So we have so that's a little complicated. Some of our customers like free. And so free is, our default free offering is Google Analytics. And then some of our customers don't like free. They want something custom. So what our default offering for that is Segment. And that's standard. Segment is standard on the Open edX platform. Google Analytics is something we're going to push up. It is standard on the web, but not so much on mobile. So the Segment offering, how many people here have heard of Segment? Okay. Of the people who have heard of Segment, was it popular for you for a large organization? Yeah, okay. So it basically goes like this. What Segment does is it allows us to just say, what analytics platform do you want to use? And then the list that Segment supports is hundreds. So your tool is probably on that list. So by default, we support hundreds of tools. And then if you really, really want that, the reason enterprise doesn't like Segment is it costs more and more money per user. So it's like paying for 2 analytics tools. But it's way faster. So basically, you say, I want to try out this app. I want to see how users are enjoying it. You can try it out for however long a time and get immediate analytics feedback on a shorter turnaround. And then if you like it, then we can do a direct integration to your analytics tool. So that's our flow. So one thing that people ask, a commonly asked question, is why do I need a native mobile app? Who has that question? Cool. Oh, you do. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to point at you. One person here does. Somebody here does. So the general answer to that is you don't need one. You also don't need Open edX. You don't need a learning solution. You don't, what's need? There's a strong business and organizational case for having a native app. That includes the fact that industry-wide, there's a huge difference in engagement on native versus web. So industry-wide across mobile and web experiences, in the United States, you'll see, I think the number is now close to users spend 90%. It was 80% a few years ago, but it's been increasing. Users spend a disproportionate amount of time on the native experiences of things versus the web equivalent of the native experience. And that's just an industry-wide trend. The numbers also seem to be increasing internationally, but are not nowhere near as high as that. But it is important, and one thing that has also been had a pretty visceral impact on people has been the question, what about your younger users? Are they going to be regularly using your web interface from their phones or from the desktop? Are they? So I guess those are kind of the reasons. One of the reasons that increased engagement on native happens is you have your phone with you 24/7, you can carry it around with you, it's just more accessible, and the native experience is just way faster. So your students can get through the courses more, they're more likely to engage with the courses. The actual measurements on that will be company specific. Did that answer questions? Any outstanding questions on those?
I guess one other question is, have you thought about how to customize layouts and not just assets for clients without having to fork the code and so on?
Yes. We haven't shipped that. So I've been, so I was talking with one of our designers about this, and she and I were talking about, okay, well, what if we did it this way, and this way? So there are a couple approaches to it. We haven't really made a clear decision, but we do want to do that. It would be great to have more layout choices. It hasn't been requested at all. It was requested for one international use case to a specific country with the idea of we want to do an experience more engaging to them, but it wasn't really about layout. It was about it's always about a specific feature or tool. It's not about the overall look. I do think that it would be cool to do a entire visual overhaul, but it's pretty usable, so. Yeah.
Are there any interesting implementations that you've seen which are native and mobile first, right? Because in general, what we've seen people talk about is the mobile being just as a support to the web deployment of Open edX. So are there any interesting entities or organizations doing native and mobile first and not really leveraging web that much?
Well, from a design perspective, at our Birds of a Feather, I just learned that Open edX designs mobile first. So it's designed to the mobile experience first and how it looks for a mobile user. So even if the web is what's coded first, the thought is first, how could this be on mobile? So I guess that partially answers your question. Are you could you maybe clarify further if I didn't quite nail what you're asking?
No, I mean, generally mobile only comes in as a support, right? Like it's when people need to take their courses on the go. It's not people generally don't think, at least from what I've seen discussed at a conference like this, is people generally see it as a support to the web application. And so I am curious if it's great that OpenEdX thinks mobile first, and I imagine that's true for most of the new X blocks that are being developed, which is fantastic. Okay. But I was just curious about whether organizations that you work with are mobile first, or is it mostly web supported by mobile?
Well, so the fact is it has to be web first, because it isn't designed to be packaged solely in an app. It's designed to be pulled from the web. So the web has to exist for the native to even to exist. So if you were to cut anything off, it would be the thing, you can't get rid of the thing that's needed. If we had a request to make it an entirely mobile package that's only mobile and doesn't rely on web, we could do that, but you'd have to probably shrink your course size by a lot. Time. We have a big blue booth downstairs. Okay.
Just to answer that last question, there's a guy here at the conference from McKinsey Peak. His name is Abhimanyu, and find him because they have a mobile-only edX learning experience, and it's also heavily themed and customized. It's still built on the same app, but you'll want to check it out for sure. So do
they not even use the web? They don't even use the web with their students at all?
They don't allow their learners to access the desktop version.
Yeah, we don't have anyone doing that, but apparently it does exist.
I can help you track him down later. We're working closely with them as well.
Yeah. It can absolutely be done. We just don't share the website.